Hi besties, it's Lacy Schoen, Real Women, Real Success, and a lot of you know that I'm on the advisory board for the Women's Leadership Program at Cal State Fullerton. And today we had an amazing program in celebration of International Women's Day, and I just wanted to take a minute to allow you to meet the guest speaker that we had. This is Summer Anderson, and she is the owner and I guess you would say principal of Miror Partners, and does executive coaching and recruitment, correct?
That's right.
So we had an amazing 2.5-hour training today with the girls in the program at Cal State Fullerton. And there's no way to summarize that in just a couple of minute video, but I did want to just visit with you a little bit. And in the spirit of International Women's Day, what would you want to say to women who might be watching this about things that to remember today, maybe from the training today, or just things to remember to help them reach their goals? Because you gave us a lot of information today.
So today we talked a lot about intention, and I know that we throw this around very often, but when we're intentional, meaning not only are we thinking intentionally, are we speaking intentionally, what's coming out of our mouth, as well as what do we write about ourselves and about others. When we are feeding our thoughts good ideas, or we're using those thoughts to really stay in the positive, what happens is our neuroscience, our brains begin to change. The powerful thing about that is that you've got this ability to think of things in a different way. As an outcome, things start to change. When we start to reprogram our brain, the outcomes are very different. So science says that when we have an intention, we set an intention of what we want to have happen, and then we feel into it. There's 2 steps. What happens is our brains believe it's really happening. So we can actually increase our skills. We can actually increase our effectiveness with others. We can actually increase our EQ, which is something we didn't think we could do before. We can. And last and most important is that we can see ourselves in that future state that we desire. When we can really get to that place where we see ourselves and it's very natural, it actually comes into being.
So you're drawing your future to you.
You are, and you're also identifying it. Mel Robbins, in the video that we shared, which we can also share as a link, we can hashtag it here. But Mel talks about the neuroscience behind it, and it's also, this is kind of what she says more or less, that when we believe something, we're looking for evidence that supports that, which is amazing. So yes, we do draw things to ourselves, but we're also reaching out. We're saying, I see that. That's something that fits into this picture I've created. And so I need some of that. Or it might be, I need that skill. And so I need to go out and get it. It might mean that we write ourselves a curriculum, which is something that Brendon Burchard talks about. Brendon is one of our favorite coaches, our collective favorite coaches. And part of the reason is that everything he's done is backed by data. It's not fluffy. This is all about what do our brains do when we go through the high performance habits that are out there. So what I will say is there's a lot of really great thought leadership about this. And ladies, read.
Absolutely. One of the things that you said that was fascinating, maybe we'll just end on this, is that when you're able to reprogram your brain, like you've been talking about, that your brain actually doesn't know the difference from, the way I read it was, doesn't know the difference between reality and what you're putting out there to develop. So history versus future, which I think is fascinating. So if your brain doesn't know the difference, why not train it to lead you where you want to go?
Exactly. It doesn't know that you haven't met important executives before. It doesn't know that you've never led a meeting before, or that you've never done something else that feels really scary and insurmountable right now. If you can envision yourself climbing that mountain, chances are really high that when you get there, you'll do a much better job, which is crazy.
It's
like
it's
practicing
actually
up here.
not as hard so much as just creating the habits.
Yes, and then it's stepping through, making the decision. I'm not going to freak out about this happening in the future. I'm just going to do moment by moment, stay in the present, and I'm going to get there. I just need to take steady, significant, purposeful action in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, I know that you were extremely inspirational to me and all the girls in the room today. So
Such a pleasure.
thank you for being here and talking to us. How can someone find out more about you and your company?
So you can find us at mirorpartners.com. We specialize in really helping corporate America think about cultural poverty in a different way. Oftentimes, cultures are a little off, and it's all about finding the right executives to make sure that the culture is on message. That's number one. Two is that if we can coach them into the right kind of mindset, like what we're talking about today, they're going to be a different kind of leader. They're going to be the kind of leader that others want to follow. And innovation rules say, if you look at all of those that are holding these values highly, those companies are more innovative. If you look at Google X and Google, for example, I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah, please.
There's actually a Slack line in the quad at Google X. And Google X is sort of like their labs, if you will, okay? And Sergey Brin and a few of the other founding fathers decide during this Fast Company interview to take a go at the slack line. Now, a slack line is essentially like a tightrope, but it's about this, it's like a webbing, like this, and it's tied between two trees. The whole purpose of this slack line is that they're gonna try this in their socks in the middle of the quad in front of everyone to see, right? They're being vulnerable.
Right.
Some of them are better at it than others, but when we go first, when our executives go first and live and lead that way, they're so much more compelling. That is the kind of value and the kinds of executives that we bring to the table.
So vulnerability, honesty, imperfection is actually a leadership quality.
It really is. It is, because we all are.
That's good to know.
Let's
we can be real people.
That's right. Let's be human. Yeah, hooray.
Yeah. Well, thank you also for sharing that. And I want to thank you guys for watching today. Please leave a comment down below. Go out there and kill it this week. And always remember, I'm your biggest fan.